Hello everyone. In this lesson we're going to take care of a bunch of different miscellaneous details when it comes to finishing the deployment of our website. Let's jump into the action. Okay, so from my VPS domain, I'm just registering for a Barks-a-Lot account. Let's go ahead and sign up. Cool, and now I want to make sure that I can upload an avatar image on the server. So if I click Manage Avatar and click Choose File, this file is only 1.4 megabytes, so I'm assuming that would just go through automatically if I click Save. Okay, beautiful, there's my new avatar. However, if I try to upload a photo that's over 2 megabytes, so you can see this photo is 2.4 megabytes. Let me try to upload that really quick. Click Save. Okay, so you can see it failed. And Laravel is not trying to validate, 2.4 megabytes. Laravel, I believe we said that it needs to be under 3 megabytes. The reason this failed has to do with our php.ini file only accepting uploads up to 2 megabytes. So really quick, let's go fix that, right? So from our VPS, assuming you've SSH'd in, we would just say nano slash, and then a space, and then file path. So space slash etc php 8.1 slash fpm slash, and then the file name is php.ini. In nano, you can press Control W, which is like the equivalent of like Controller Command F to search for something. And then if we just search for upload max file size and press enter, cool, that highlights it. And I'm just going to change it instead of 2M, let's put it up to like 10M. I'm going to press Control X to save that, and then Y for yes, enter to accept the file name. And now we do need to reload our PHP service so that it actually has those changes take effect. So sudo systemctl reload, and what do we want to reload? Our PHP 8.1-fpm service. Go ahead and press enter, and now let me try to upload that image one more time. So choose file, this file is 2.4 megabytes, so now it should go through. So if I click save, beautiful, you can see it went through, there's my profile, cool. At this point, let's change gears. I want to use Redis for cache and for our queue list of jobs. So if I sign out, for example, remember this area that uses cached value. And then also anytime you create a post that's going to add an email job to our queue, I want to use Redis for both of those features, just to improve the speed and performance of our website. So to install Redis back on our VPS, I would just say sudo apt install redis-server. When it asks yes or no, press Y, enter. Should be a very quick download, a very quick installation. Let me run a quick clear. Okay, and now I need to go into my Laravel folder and use Composer to install predis or Predis. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but we just need a PHP package so that PHP can play nicely with the Redis server. So I'm going to cd into /var/www/our-app. In this folder, I'm just going to run a composer require, and the name of the package is predis or predis/predis. Go ahead and press enter. Yes, I'm going to use composer as root, type enter. Cool, so that was a quick installation. Now we just need to go into our Laravel env file and tell it to start actually using Redis. So I would nano the .env file. I'm going to scroll down a little bit to where we see cache driver. Instead of file, I'm going to put that to Redis. And then also for queue connection, instead of database, I'm going to put this to Redis. Finally, I'm going to add a new property right below queue connection. It doesn't matter exactly where you put it, but this will work. I'm going to say Redis, all uppercase, _ client equals, and then lowercase Predis. Okay, let's press Control X to save this file, Y, enter, and now let me go refresh the guest homepage. Cool, it's still working, and let me go create a post with Barks-a-Lot so we can see if this number goes up from 0 to 1. So I'll log in with Barks-a-Lot. Let me create a quick post. Being a dog is fun. Lorem ipsum. Save that. And if I go back to the home page and log out so we can see that cached area, beautiful. Cool, so Redis is up and working. At this point, let's set up our cron jobs to automatically run our queue worker and our schedule worker, right, once every minute. So back in our VPS, this Ubuntu server actually already has cron pre-installed, so we can just begin using it right away. We don't need to go install it. So let's say cron tab space -e. We want to edit our cron jobs. It's asking which text editor I want to use. I just want to use option number 1, which is nano. So I'm going to press 1, hit enter. Cool. Let's use our arrow keys to scroll down to the very bottom of this file. And we're going to type, 5 asterisks, each one separated by a space. And then we're going to say /usr/bin/php space. And remember, this is the equivalent of saying like php artisan, and then a command. So this is the PHP command and then a space. Now, instead of just saying artisan, we want to provide an absolute path to that artisan file that lives in our Laravel folder. So that would be /var/www/our-app/artisan. Okay, then the actual command we want to run is q:\work. We want to give it an option of --max time equals 60 seconds. Okay, on a new line, let's have 5 asterisks, space separated, do the same thing. So usr bin php var www/our-app/artisan. Only now the command that we actually want to run is schedule. And instead of work, we want to run simply just :run, schedule :run. So that's not something that's going to run in the background for an extended period of time. It's just going to run and then close. Cool. And then we're just going to recall it once every minute. Let's go ahead and save this with Control X, hit Y, hit enter. Beautiful. Now you can just sit back and wait, maybe up to 59 seconds, but back in your mail trap, right? Let's see if that scheduled email that gets sent out once every minute. Aha. Perfect. It interrupted me right as I was talking. So here we see congrats on the new post. Remember, I created that barks a lot, being a dog is fun. This is great. So it was queued up in our list of queued jobs because we didn't have that service up and running. As soon as we had that service running, Laravel saw, hey, there's a job in the queue. Go ahead and push it through. And then also here is that once a minute recap. Beautiful. And this is great because now you can reboot your system and those automated jobs are just going to start on their own. Really quick, let's make sure that our live chat room feature works here on our actual VPS environment. So I'll log in as Barksalot on this browser. In this browser, this is a Firefox window. Let me register for a Brad account. Okay, so if I sign up as Brad, I don't need to upload an avatar. We've already tested that. But if I open up the chat room and I open up the chat room on the Barksalot session, I can say like, hello, ? Back in this window, beautiful. It came through, and the Brad user can say, hi, how is it going? And we can see the Barksalot user receives that. Perfect. Cool. So we've confirmed that the live chat works. You can test out the live search if you wanted to, like if we search for the word dog. Beautiful. Being a dog is fun. Cool. At this point, let's change gears. And you can see how Google Chrome is saying not secure. Right now, let's set up HTTPS encryption support. So how in the world are we going to do that? Well, just go back into your VPS and we want to install a piece of software called certbot. Now in the past, I've always used apt to install certbot, but as of Ubuntu 22.04, the official recommendation is to use the snap. I know snap can be controversial and a lot of people have different opinions about snap, but I'm going to follow the official recommendation from the certbot software team. So the recommendation is to say sudo snap install --classic, and the name of the package is certbot. Go ahead and press enter. This installation process will take, perhaps up to a minute or two, so be patient. Okay, but once it finishes, great, we have certbot. Certbot makes it really easy to get an HTTPS certificate for your domain. Now, before we actually request our certificate, let's first make sure that our firewall is set up to allow HTTPS connections. So by default, this Ubuntu server already has a firewall installed. It's called Uncomplicated Firewall. The acronym is UFW. So if you type UFW version, you can see, yep, it's already installed. So let's just configure it a little bit. So I'm just going to set up the defaults again. So sudo UFW default deny incoming. Let's also say sudo UFW default allow outgoing. And then let's be sure to allow SSH connections, right? We don't want to accidentally lock ourselves out, right? So the whole idea of a firewall is that it blocks incoming connections from most ports, but we don't want to block, the SSH port. We want to be able to SSH into our machine. So we're going to say sudo UFW allow SSH. Okay, and then finally, we want to make sure that Nginx can use its full setup. So not just HTTP, but also HTTPS. So sudo UFW allow, quote, Nginx full, and then we can delete the old redundant just HTTP version. So sudo UFW delete allow, quotes, Nginx HTTP quotes. Cool. Now, all of those changes that we just entered, we need those changes to actually take effect or be applied. So we're just going to say sudo UFW enable. Go ahead and press enter. It's going to ask you, are you sure you want to do this? You might be accidentally blocking yourself from connecting to your own machine, but we don't need to worry about that because we said to allow SSH connections. So I'm going to type Y for yes, hit enter. Cool. Let's run a clear just so we're back up at the top. And now we're ready to actually use certbot to get an HTTPS certificate. So we're just going to say sudo certbot --nginx -d, and the domain we want to spell out. Yours will be different than mine, but learninglaravel.xyz space. Another domain that you want to spell out is the same one, but just prefaced with www.learninglaravel.xyz. Go ahead and press enter. Now, because I've already set up a certificate for this domain on a separate VPS practice run, it didn't ask me, to walk through an interactive shell where you accept different options and type in your email address. But you should be able to just accept all of the default options, give it the email address that's associated with your domain when you registered your domain, and you can see successfully received certificate. Now, here's what's really cool. Because we gave it the flag of --nginx, it knew to go into the configuration file for this website and add all of the directives that make sense, for serving up HTTPS URLs. So now, back in our browser, if we refresh, awesome. You can see I was on HTTP and it said, not secure, but it automatically now prioritized the HTTPS version for this domain. You can see we have the lock, we now have encryption, HTTPS, and this works for all of our URLs. Beautiful. In other words, for example, if you click up in the address bar, press Control or Command A to select it all and, paste it in, you can see it begins with HTTPS. Beautiful. Right? That is a real trustworthy certificate. Now, that means at this point, we have finished setting up our server. This is a real live Laravel application hooked up to a real domain that the entire world can visit. We've improved site performance by using Redis for cache, for the queue system, so on and so forth. And don't forget, we've also set up really smooth Git integration for future updates. So really quick, just for a quick example, imagine if I wanted to add an exclamation here where it says, your feed is empty instead of a period. Watch how easy this is to perform, future updates. You would just go into your local VS Code on your host computer. Let's search for homepage feed.blade.php down at the bottom, right, where it says your feed is empty instead of the period. Change it to an exclamation. I would just say git add all. You can run a quick git status if you want to. Yep, I just want that one file. So I would commit those changes, homepage text change, and then just push to production. So git push to production on the main branch. Push enter. Now watch how fast this is. It already used our SSH key. It already pushed the file. And if I refresh my live website, beautiful. This is awesome. And this is going to bring not only this lesson, but this course to a close. You now know how to build an entire application with Laravel. Registration, logging in, logging out, creating posts, relationships between different users, live search results, live chat rooms, so on and so forth. Now, if you're wondering where do you go from here? Well, obviously there's a lot to Laravel. We just wanted to cover the basic building blocks and fundamentals in this course. So you can visit the official Laravel website, or you can especially visit the Laracast's website to learn about more advanced topics. But I would say just based on what you've already learned in this course, I think you're ready to visit the official Laravel job board. So it's larajobs.com. You can scroll through this website and there is a continual new supply of jobs, companies and businesses that are looking for Laravel developers. Some of the job listings will be looking for, really advanced senior developers, but believe it or not, not every single job opening is looking for a guru, super advanced developer. I don't want you to sell your new skill set short. You can build entire applications using your new skills. So right now, as of today, if you've made it to the end of this course, you are enough. If you look, I promise there are opportunities out there. I'm so excited for you to build new applications, look for different job opportunities. Really, with this new Laravel skill set, the sky is the limit. I want to thank you for coming along on this journey with me. I hope you feel like you learned something. And until we meet again in another course, I wish you the very best of luck. Take care.